All right, so I've decided to put 2 extra bonus videos in this program to help everyone who's obviously opted in and decided to go through this program. These 2 lessons are really going to be geared towards people that are in the sales profession. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to be a salesperson. That's just what it is. Now you might think, well, I don't really need to know this, or sales is not my thing. I'm gonna be honest, every human being is a salesperson. We sell our ideas all the time to our friends and family. You think about it, if you go to a movie, you see it, you tell your friends about it, they go. If you find a piece of clothing you like and your friends ask you where you got it, you kind of sell them the experience you had and where you purchased it. And if they go and buy it, well then you just sold them on that item. So selling is really just a transfer of emotion. Now, would it be cool to understand the psychology of how the whole process goes down? So I'm going to give you 2 lessons. The first lesson is going to be on the perfect presentation, and we're going to get started with that one right now. So the perfect presentation. If you're doing a one-on-one meeting, or if you're doing a big group presentation, there's a flow to that meeting that can really hit an audience or an individual to get them to really buy into what you're talking about. Now, each quadrant that I'm going to break down reaches a different population because, like I said earlier on in the videos, every human being has a different way of getting a representation of what's being shared with them in their brain, and we want to speak to them based on what excites them most. So if you're looking at this document right now called the perfect presentation, you're going to see 4 quadrants. The first one's called the why. 35% of the population buy on why. So why you're doing what you're doing, why this product or service is going to benefit them. Sometimes I just explain to people why I'm excited about what I'm doing, why this could benefit them, and they don't even want to know how it all works. They're just like, you know what, that relates to me. I want to purchase. So you want to start there. Whenever you're putting together a presentation, you want to start with why you're there, why is it a value to them, why you're doing it, maybe to give them a picture of what's actually going on. So that's the first thing. Now, as you go through these quadrants, what you can do is time your presentations. So if you know that you only had an hour-long presentation, we could spend 15 minutes on each quadrant, and there's your hour. So you can kind of then pinpoint a time presentation. If you had 30 minutes to present something, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is for you, you can use this structure actually and put together a presentation based on the time frame that you need. So if you see great speakers who really, literally end at the time they said they're going to end at, either they've rehearsed it a lot and they've just practiced it so much that they kind of know the timing, or they've used this formula and put together a presentation. Okay, so again, another little side note, something I would do if I was in a presentation environment where I'm constantly selling people or selling groups, really use this tool. It's a very, very, very good tool. The second thing is what? So 22% of the population, they want to know what it is. I've seen it in the past where I was telling everyone this big reason of why I'm doing what I'm doing and why it really benefit them, and they just interrupted me and said, hey Chris, what is this? Like, what is it? Just tell me what it is. When you hear that, they want to be communicated in this quadrant. So take the time to actually explain what you're talking about and what it is for them. So they're going to want to know more information. And when you're teaching this, they're going to be listening and probably taking some notes as well. So again, think about that as you're presenting and putting together your program, why you're doing it, and then you're going to lead to what it is. The third thing is how. 18% of the population want to know how it works. Right? They need to either do it, they need to go through the experience. They want to know all the details of what's going on. So as you're going through your presentation, you'd start why, what, and then you're going to how and kind of explain that. How everything operates, how it all goes down, and you're going to hit that 18% of the population. And again, when you're in a presentation, I've done this whether I'm in a one-on-one meeting selling something or a group, and somebody asks a question halfway through, and they're like, okay, just how does this work? How does this all come together? And that's now where you're going to focus in on talk about how. Right? Sometimes what's happening, and I've seen this in the past, where people will get asked that question and then they'll go and talk about why they're doing it, or they'll talk about what the product or service is, and that person gets more and more annoyed because you're not actually answering their question. You're talking to them based on what you think they want to hear. But now if you look at these quadrants, you're going to be able to say, oh, I heard what they're saying. Now I know how to handle that question or objection properly based on what they want to know. And you're going to get through a lot of the clutter. And hey, if you're even doing a presentation and you had 30 minutes and the person really doesn't care about anything else, they just want to know how it works, you could shorten that presentation down to a couple minutes and they'd probably be sold on the idea right away. So be very aware of what the questioning is coming from when they're communicating with you. And number 4 is what if. They need to teach, needs to teach themselves and others, and 25% of the population is here. So they got to evaluate and predict. And number 4 is kind of like fear of loss. Like if they miss out on this, something, either bad's going to happen, or if they do it, something good's going to happen. So you kind of want to pay attention to that. So I always like to frame things when I'm selling an idea or project, and even when I obviously in network marketing is the same thing. When I went to this part of like, what if you don't do this business? What's going to happen next 3 to 5 years for you? If you look at your future, what's going to change? You need to start making a decision today so you don't have problems down the road. When I was selling personal training, for example, I would talk about what ifs. What if you don't buy training today and you don't get in shape? You're looking at illness, you're looking at disease, you're looking at obesity rates that will probably keep climbing, and you might even fall into that category. So it's painting problems for people later on down the road. So what that made them do was say, that makes a lot of sense. I need to take action right now. So all 4 quadrants are very, 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 very important when you're putting together a presentation. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, you need to make sure that you're hitting it in that order. So why, what, how, and then obviously what if. And as you're in sales or as you're selling, you got to remember people, thinking pictures, not actual words. Like as I'm talking, as I'm explaining this, you're having images coming into your brain of what's going on. So as you're going through a presentation, what you want to do is you want to walk them along a story. You want to paint a very good picture in their brain so that they can see the value of whatever it is you're trying to communicate to them. So again, as you go through and formulate either your script or your presentation, pay attention to that and look at the words and language that you're using based on when you're doing your formal presentation one-on-one or in a group. So as an example, I'm just going to go through this one right here. It's very simple. So this is something I would do, today or sometime tomorrow, is look at your business and formulate, a perfect presentation. So start with why. I'm going to use network marketing as an example because I worked obviously in network marketing for a while. So why am I doing this? So the reason why I'm doing this is, and I explain why. I wanted to improve my financial situation. I was unhappy with my current work environment, and I saw this as a vehicle that could allow me to transition out of that. Now, what is it? It's affiliate marketing. Okay, and I pretty much explained that, how the affiliate marketing works. People ask, okay, well, how does it work? Well, it's an online referrals-based system. So if I refer people to products or services, they go online, they order a product, and I get paid royalties since I refer them to that business. And then what if, if you don't do this business model, what's your life going to look like? Myself, I looked at my situation. I said, if I didn't do something like this, I probably would be still doing things I didn't enjoy. So I made a decision right then and there to change my situation, get involved in this industry, and I haven't looked back. So as you can see, it's very simple once you kind of look at what points you need to cover. And this little tool right here, I carry this thing with me everywhere. Anytime I'm talking with somebody and they're an entrepreneur and they need to sell something, we go right to this and we break it down. We break it down to a point where it becomes so simple. Because if you could take your 30 or 40 minute or hour-long presentation and simplify it in 5 or 10 minutes and make it very precise and pinpoint with these 4 quadrants, you're going to be able to cut through time a lot more. You're going to reach the audience a lot quicker and be very, very effective with your presentation. And at the end of the day, practice makes perfect. So create your perfect presentation, practice it every single day, and just get out there and just do it. Go out there, make it happen, communicate effectively, and use this tool every single day.